Well, this is a surprise, and I'm not sure if it's a good one. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with my first impressions reaction to New Panty and Stocking, Episode 1. So, I mentioned before, with other things, that I had been waiting for this, and I was waiting specifically for the dub, because I've seen some of the sub of the original season, and, well, not necessarily bad, it just doesn't have the same comedic weight to it that the dub had. And one of the main reasons for that was the performances of Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial as Panty and Stocking, respectively. And so the build up to this new season, all these years later, was exciting. And mind you, I didn't have to wait as long. And Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial were also like super excited for it as well. But I just found out yesterday, and this is why we're doing a first impression to this, because I was not expecting to do this. But I just found out yesterday that instead of Crunchyroll or whatever, the dub is being licensed and put out by Amazon Prime for whatever reason. And because of this, Amazon Prime has chosen to recast literally every character. There is no returning cast members. Not for Panty, Stocking, Garter Belt, Brief, the Scanny and Knee Socks, those two. None of the characters have returning VAs. And when I heard this, like, saying I was disappointed is an extreme understatement. Like, I was, like, really fucking upset about this. And it may sound like, oh, it's just a show, it's nothing to be upset about. The thing is, I really liked the original season. It was a great satire on American cartoons and sensibilities and stuff. And while not every episode was the best, there were some weaker ones in there. The idea of it really was sold, and it was genuinely funny. But like I said, one of the biggest reasons for that was the dub performances. Everyone's performances were just so aggressively good that it's literally what made the series work so well. Like, obviously, the writing, dialogue, the animation, all of that helped too, of course. But this is one of those shows that was carried by the voice performances. One of those shows that, like, there is no other voice that you can imagine these characters speaking with. And I mean, I get the logistics of why they recast everyone, because, you know, a different company is handling the casting. It's like, it makes sense. But, like, to not even cast Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial as the two title characters that they are known for popularizing, characters that are so intrinsically tied to their voices. Like, they could have still cast them. There's no reason they couldn't have. But instead, they went with an entirely 100% new dub cast. And while it's being released simultaneously alongside the sub, it's like, this just, I don't know if it's going to work. I genuinely do not know if this series can work without Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial. They are, like, again, they are too intrinsically tied to these characters. And it's not like it's the first time characters in a series have changed voices. Sometimes it's happened for like various needed reasons. Like there's been occasions where VAs have passed away, or there's been occasions where VAs have been outed as terrible people and have had to be replaced. And that kind of stuff is like you can't get around that, but it can change the characters and their vibes. Like one example I have to name, obviously you could name anything that you know, creep ass Vic Mignogna was in. But one of the big things, because this was still going on when he was, really exposed for being terrible, was Ruby. He voiced Uncle Crow in Ruby in the first 6 seasons. Yeah, it was volume 7 that they changed over to Jason Liebrecht, and the voice change is noticeable. Jason Liebrecht tries his best to kind of match the tone of the original voice performance by Mignogna, but it's very different, and you can tell it's different. And on top of that, kind of the entire vibe of the character changes. He changes drastically as a character because of it. He doesn't feel like the same Crow. And there's certain aspects of him that are the same. There's like, I mean, outside of just his appearance and everything. But generally, it's like you really can't imagine volumes. He, I think, debuted in volume 3, 3 through 6. Crow acting kind of the way he did in volumes 7 through 8, because he wasn't in volume 9. But yeah, it's like it feels so different. And sometimes that's just going to be the case where it's going to completely change the characters. And that's what I'm worried about here, because again, these characters are so intrinsically linked to these voices that it's like I just can't really imagine any other like voices coming out of them. And I'm not hating against the new VAs. I'm not gonna like put this on them. It's not their fault. And I've seen like the VAs are even saying on like social media, they're even like giving love to the OGs and everything. They're even like showing love to the original voices, who paved the way, I guess you could say. But still, it's just like there's no discernible reason they should have recast this. And the biggest problem is you absolutely fucking know this is going to affect viewership. Viewership and ratings are not going to be great comparatively. Like if they had kept at least just those two, if they wanted to recast everyone else, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But if they had kept just those two the same, the viewership would probably be double, at least, of what it's going to be without them. Because again, it's one of those cases where the voices and the characters are so intrinsically linked. It's just not right having them without. And so that's why I'm doing a first impressions to this. Even though I watched the original season and loved it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to react to this. Much less I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it. And that's really upsetting to me, because I was looking forward to this so much. I didn't even know a dub cast was announced. I didn't know anything was was already secured for the dub yet. I hadn't heard anything about this literally until like yesterday afternoon. I had already finished recording yesterday even. So I guess technically more yesterday evening rather than afternoon. But I just was like scrolling through social media and I saw that like someone had said it was up and everything. And so I looked into it briefly more, and I noticed it was talking about a new dub cast, and it's like I didn't see who the dub cast is, by the way. I don't know who the actual voice actors are. And I'm not even saying they can't do a good job. There's a lot of VAs out there who could absolutely match the energy and style of this. But the problem is the voices are so specifically linked to these characters that unless the new VAs like specifically try to do impressions of Jamie Markey and Monica Rial's performances, it's like it just won't fit really. But then again, if they do try to just do impressions of those original voices, it's gonna be noticeable. And it's gonna feel really weird and uncanny. Like, again, this may seem like a silly little, like, problem that some people wouldn't even, like, consider a real problem. It's like, oh, this is you're like focused so heavily on this. You're you're this upset by it. It's just a show. And it's like, yeah, but it's a show that I genuinely enjoyed, that like brought me a certain level of joy and happiness. And that matters. There's nothing wrong with finding, you know, in a huge amount of enjoyment with the series and being disappointed when something major about it changes. Like, this is why I don't give too much flack to like One Punch Man fans for like being disappointed with the downgrade of animation with season 2. But like I also, to be fair, am someone who likes to point out that season 2 in every other way did get better. Yes, the animation absolutely was a downgrade, though I don't think it was as bad as everyone was saying. People like to point out a certain like couple specific frames, and it's like the animation for most of the season still looked fine. It's just like it was just a couple frames that were bad. But like the story, the characters, everything else was like improved on from season 1. And so that's why I'm giving this a chance still. Because I acknowledge that there are shows out there that have had major changes that have disappointed people, but that there can still be a quality improvement nonetheless. This season might like do the same thing. It might have better story. It might have better, the characters might be improved on. The humor might be even better than the original season, and possibly even more relevant because of things to like kind of play with nowadays. There's a lot that this season can absolutely get right. And that's why I want to continue to give it a chance. If it wasn't for that possibility, I just would have said fuck it and like just abandon this series. But no, I'm giving it a genuine chance here because I believe that it has the possibility of still being overall better. Even if the voices take some getting used to, we'll just say. It's always going to be upsetting. It's always going to be like really sad that they didn't get those two back, especially because I know those two wanted to come back. They said so. They genuinely said when this was first announced that they wanted to come back. They love Panty and Stocking. They love having done these performances. It's just a huge shame. And again, I get the logistics behind it. I understand the reasons, but it's still just I hope I can get over it enough, and I hope I can still enjoy it enough to get through it without having to worry about it. And I hope that these new voice actors do a great job. Because again, I'm not going to take this out on the VAs. That's not fair. That is absolutely not fair. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. I am curious to like see who the VAs are, because like I said, I haven't actually heard that part yet. Um, but one thing I will say, and This is gonna, like, this is like one thing where I actually do think a new VA was needed. I love J. Michael Tatum. He should never have voiced Garter Belt. And his performance was fantastic, because of course it was. It was J. Michael Tatum. He's amazing. But, like, let's be honest. We shouldn't have had him voicing Garter Belt. Garter Belt, not only because he's a black character, but because, like, J. Michael Tatum was clearly doing a black voice, and it was very awkward. And I understand this is a satire show. It makes it a little more digestible, but it was always kind of awkward there. So I'm hoping they actually got a black VA for this to, like, have more of the actual, like, representation for that more accurately portrayed. I think it's just, I think it's a better option. It's like with Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, with Anais Quinones having been, like, cast as Yoriichi. Although that didn't end up working out because Wendy Lee basically started this hate campaign, this smear campaign against that, just to get her role back. Which, it's like, God, Wendy Lee fucking sucks. Such a terrible person. Fuck her. Like, she literally took a job away from a black VA just because she didn't want to be replaced. She didn't want her role to be taken by them. Well, I think Anais goes by both them and she pronouns. I think. But yeah, it's just it's fucked up, and it pisses me off. But that's an entirely different situation. Either way, I do hope that Garter Belt, it does have more representative voicing this time. I guess we should just get into it. I know these pre-thoughts have been long, but it's like, again, I wasn't really even expecting to record this. This is like the third first impression we're doing this week. And this was entirely unintended. Like, the only one I was planning for at the beginning of the week that I was going to do this week was Gachi Akata. And then I remembered that Turkey was airing, and I had to get to that. And then I found out, I didn't even know the dub for this was coming anytime soon, so I found out this had released, and it's like, again, I'm only doing the first impression because I'm not sure if I'm going to like the new voicing. But I really genuinely hope I do. I don't want to dislike it just because it's new VAs. I want the new VAs to do a great job and to genuinely impress me and prove me wrong. That is the best case scenario here. That is what I want. So let's get to this and see if they can do that. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I have the cast list up here. I want to go through this. So, Panty is Courtney Lynn. Let me see if I know anything she's been in. Because I don't recognize the name offhand. Apparently she was in Tales of the TMNT. Haven't really seen that yet. A lot of stuff that I wouldn't really know. Oh, hold on. She was in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. She was Demon Girls 1 and 3. Very specific. and the actress who played Knives in the fake movie in there in the show. Well, it wasn't a fake movie in the show. You know what I mean. Oh, she was one of the kids from Heaven in Heavenly Delusion. I watched the sub for that, mind you, but still. She's Draculaura in Monster High. We did the first episode of that as a first impression. Okay, so I've heard her voice before. She's Karumi in Kakigurui Twin. Did we watch the... No, I think we saw the dub for... Or the sub for that. Anything else I would know? Oh, apparently she voices Penny in Pokemon Masters. That's fun. Okay, so she's been in a couple things I know. Stalking was indeed Christina Valenzuela. I did catch that. For those who don't know, Christina Valenzuela is like a pretty big VA. She's Killua in Hunter x Hunter. She's Verosica in Hell of a Boss. She's in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. She's in so many things. She's obviously Marinette in Miraculous. Sailor Mars in Sailor Moon. Bunch of different stuff. She's huge. Garter Belt is Daniel Walton, and he is a voice actor of color, so that's pretty good to see. Looks like he's been in stuff like Blue Exorcist, Sakamoto Days, Go Go Loser Ranger. Oh, he was a character in Delicious in Dungeon. Oberhaupt Towden? Oh, is that the father of Fallon and Laios? He must have only been shown like once, I think. Oh, he was the Void Volks in Undead Unluck. That's fun. He seems like a fairly new VA, though. He hasn't done a lot. Kieran Walton is Brief. Another one I don't know the name of. Oh, it looks like he's done even less. He has done almost nothing. He's like a brand new VA. Okay. Scanty is Kat Pratano, who's been in various things. Nothing I'm really noticing. Oh, City the Animation, which we're gonna be reacting to today as well. I don't know what, like, order you're seeing things in. I'm reacting to both today. I haven't recorded it yet when I'm recording this. But if you end up seeing that first, just know that I recorded this first today. She's in Genshin Impact. Konosuba, Smite. Seems like most of them have been in Smite, but I think everyone's in Smite. Nisox is Ryan Bartley. That name sounds a little familiar. Have I heard you in something else? Tower of God. No, I wouldn't know you from that. I haven't seen that. Oh, Street Fighter 6 is the female avatar. That's interesting. Oh, she's the newer English voice for Hikari in Digimon Adventure, the 2023 version? Huh. Okay. I don't think I heard the dub for that yet. Because when we watched most of it, we were watching the sub. Because the dub hadn't even come out yet. And yeah, it's just I normally think I can't think of her name right now, but she voiced Libby and Ghost and Molly McGee and various other roles. She was the original voice of Hikari in the original Digimon Adventure dub. And that's who I think of when I think of Hikari's dub voice. Someone from Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War that I don't recognize, so I don't think I've seen yet. Oh, she was Shoko from Jujutsu Kaisen? Well, I would definitely know that because I watched the dub for... Well, I've watched both the dub and the sub for that. But I definitely know Shoko. That's definitely a voice I would recognize her for. Okay. I don't know what Eden Zero is, but cute bunny girl character, I guess. Literal bunny girl. Da, da, da. Oh, she. At least in the video game, she's Ram from ReZero. Oh no, she's just Ram. She's Ram's voice. Okay. She's been in Detective Conan. I think that's just a movie though, but she's been in a lot. Good amount of stuff. Cuz it's still going here. She's Hanako Kamado in Demon Slayer. Isn't that well, I mean, I know Nezuko and I can't remember the main character's name. I know their last name is Kamado, so I think that's like maybe one of their other siblings that were killed in the first episode. And she's a couple other characters. Makomo, who I don't think I recognize. Maybe I do. I don't know. I only saw like 6 episodes or so. And then young Rengoku. And I know who Rengoku is because everyone talks. Oh, shit. She's Angela from Carol and Tuesday. Well, that's definitely a name I know. I mean, I watched that originally in sub, but I have seen the dub for Carol and Tuesday. It's just as good. Angela, that's probably the biggest one for me that she's voiced. For me, personally. Because of how much I love it. Anyway, let's move on. Because there's just so many roles at this point. It's um Chuck doesn't have a dub voice listed here. The only voice I'm seeing here for the dub is for the original series, in which it was Ian Sinclair. Also, I did not know Ian Sinclair was the voice of Chuck originally. I guess Chuck didn't like speak enough in this first episode to have like the voice announced yet or something. Fastener, which is anti Chuck, by the way. I just call him anti Chuck. Also doesn't have a VA, a English VA listed here. Okay. So, from this first episode, I want to say Courtney Lynn, I think, is more fitting for Panty than Christina is for Stocking. And, which is weird to say because I feel like I know Christina Valenzuela as, like, much more as a VA because I've heard her in so much. And like obviously Christina can do like more mature shows we've seen with Hell of a Boss and everything. Um but the voice she's doing is like it's so noticeably different. Christine or rather Courtney Lynn's voice for Panty is similar enough to where it's like yeah, it's noticeable that it's different than the original voice that Jamie Markey had for her, but it's close enough to where it's like okay, I can kind of accept this. But stop, but Monica Rial has such a very specific cadence and sound to her voice that it's just it's almost irreplaceable. You can't really hear anyone else doing that kind of voice. And Christina's voice is like not inherently bad or anything because she's a very very good VA. But it's so aggressively different. And we only hear it like at the end of the episode, like we only actually start to hear her new voice there. But it's so distractingly different. It doesn't have the bite and charm of Monica Rial's voice in the original. And it's like clearly Christina's like doing a higher pitched voice, a higher register than she does for a lot of her characters. And the thing is, I don't know what other kind of voice she's done that would work better. I think she's doing it too high, though. I think that's the issue. Because it sounds like way too high and way too light, even despite, the things she's saying with it. It's just. I feel like she should do like a lower voice, maybe something closer to. As weird as it fucking sounds, something closer to Marinette. Um, not really something. I wouldn't say like anything like in relation to her roles for like Killua or whatnot. And definitely not Vraska. That would definitely be the wrong kind of voice. But Marinette, like kind of that, more of that tone, I think would fit maybe a little better. I'm trying to see like her other roles to see like maybe another one that would work really well. I I I don't know if I've heard much of her Sailor Mars voice because she's the newer voice for Sailor Mars in the new dubs and like for Sailor Moon Crystal and all. And haven't really heard a lot of that, so she was Takako in A Place Farther Than the Universe, but I think I watched that in sub. Oh yeah, she's the voice. She's the new dub voice for of Ran Mori in Detective Conan, or at least has been in like a movie or two. I don't know if she's gonna be the new voice in the new dub for that because Detective Conan's getting a new dub, which is very interesting for a number of reasons. Oh, she apparently played a like a background character, I guess, named Miki in Re Cutie Honey, which is interesting because like we just reacted to that. But yeah, something maybe like Marinette, like just in terms of tone and register and style and all. I'm trying to. I'm really trying to find something else though. Like yeah, Tulin or Killua would definitely not be the right sounds because those are like she's doing male characters and trying to make it sound like a little boy and everything. So that definitely wouldn't work. Um, she's done so many roles that it's just hard to like scroll through these all. Oh yeah, she is Hawk in Seven Deadly. How does he sound? I don't know. I think that would be kind of more of a masculine or a little boy voice too, because Hawk is male and everything. But Hawk also has like a kind of cutesy, weird voice anyway, so maybe something like that. Young Gojo, definitely not. That's definitely more like similar to Killua's voice. Also, I forgot she was young Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Ooh, Ebisu from Dorohedoro. I also forgot she was Ebisu. Yeah, maybe something more akin to that. Obviously, not exactly. The thing is, I think she's trying to be a little similar to Monica Rial's voice because I guess they don't want to like have it be too different. They don't want to have it be like so different that it's super jarring. But again, it's still very different. But maybe something close to Ebisu, obviously without the like weirdness of Ebisu specifically, but maybe something close to that voice. That's a really good one. If you haven't seen Dorohedoro, by the way, definitely check it out. It's amazing, and it also has hot buff ladies in it. Nikaido and Noi are both like super hot. Um, but anyway, also Shin, really hot guy as well. But anyway, also it's weird as fuck. So sorry, I keep getting distracted thinking about Dorohedoro because the second season was announced and we just haven't heard anything about it since. And I'm really excited for that because season one was so weird and good. I definitely think I might react to season two, even though I didn't react to season one. Anyway, let's focus. Okay, so this was obviously a direct follow up to the end of the last one. We find out that that indeed the idea is that Stocking was being basically just brainwashed, demon brainwashing, pretty standard demon shit, and she was never actually a demon. Even though she like said I was a demon all along, it's like she was lying. She was just being controlled. She was still an angel. She was just being like brainwashed to believe she was a demon and to act like a demon. Unfortunately, it ended up overwhelming her and turned her into a ghost of sorts. And so Garter Belt, Brief, and the Damon sisters have to go, like, pick up Panty's cubed parts, put her back together, all 666 pieces, which, haha, fun, and get her to, you know, save Stocking, basically. That's the gist of the entire episode. And the vibes of it pretty much are the same. Although I think they're like a little more explicit with the language being used. And don't get me wrong, they were obviously explicit with the language in the original season. Like, obviously, like, repent motherfuckers being said all the time. Um, but honestly, I think it's more explicit. Because I don't remember 100%, but were they saying, like, cock and dick and stuff like that, like, super liberally in the original? Um, like, they swore. They very much swore a lot. But I don't think it was, like, as aggressive as it is here. Also, they basically showed Panty's bare ass pussy. Like, it wasn't like in graphic detail or anything, but like they showed like the opening, like, for lack of a better word here, line of her pussy. You could tell I'm a virgin. But you they never actually showed anything in the original series, so I'm wondering how explicit this is going to get. I and the fact that this is Amazon Prime doing this, it kind of makes sense. Amazon Prime is much more open to being explicit. They're not as afraid to show crazy shit. And with the stylized way it was shown, it wasn't like super like obvious and super like, again, explicitly drawn. So they could probably get away with it a little easier that way. Um so that was kind of surprising in and of itself that they actually seem to be going further with that. But the comedy is pretty much the same. It's like it really feels like it's the exact same level of comedy, the exact same style of comedy. And I believe Penny and Stocking's an anime original series. It wasn't based on a manga or whatnot. So, like, I wonder if they got some of the same writers, or if they really are just emulating the writing style of the original series that well. Either way, it feels very much the same. The animation is drastically better. This is one of those cases where it has been so long, it's just so aggressively apparent how well the animation has improved. Um, like when you there's been shows that have had like long breaks between their original releases and their continuations. One of the big examples I always think of is Durarara. Durarara had its first season come out like I want to say 7 years before Durara X2 eventually came out. I think it was about 7 years, and the animation style with that series, like, it was better to a basic degree, but the style of it and the way the series is didn't make it as super apparent, despite there being a 7 year gap or so. It still felt like very much the same kind of animation style with just a slight upgrade. But a series like this, where the animation is kind of important to, you know, the visuals and style of the humor, even, it makes sense that it would receive a massive visual upgrade. Because, let me check here. When did the original Panty and Stocking come out? I genuinely don't remember. Because, again, I watched it, like, last year, I think it was. So it's like, I didn't watch it when it first came out because I wasn't interested originally. I didn't think it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be stupid. And then I ended up really loving it. So, hey. Um, Hold on. I'm trying to find it here. Uh, Franchise, Panty and Stocking. I'm on Behind the Voice Actors. I could just look it up with, like, one of the characters here. 2012. So it has been 13 years. That's actually a bigger that's actually a much bigger wait than I think Durarara was. Apparently the Japanese voice actress for Panty is the same though, Arisa Ogasawara. So it's just the dub voices that have changed because of different studios doing it. But they got the Japanese VAs back, I guess. Okay, now I'm curious though. Um, do ra ra ra. I just want to see. Oh, oh, that's not as long as I thought it was. I thought it was like 7 years. It was not 7 years. So Durarara originally came out in 2011, and X2 came out in 2015. Why did I think it was like 7? I must be. Am I thinking of something else? Because that's only 4 years. That's still a long time to wait for a season two, like normally, but that's not that bad. Why did I think it was 7 years? I must be thinking of something else. I mean, the Japanese release was in 2010, so that's a little longer too. That's like 5 years. Maybe I was thinking from the Japanese release. Durara X2. Yeah, 2015. So yeah, it was 5 years for the original Japanese release. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Because the dub for the original Durara came out a year after. Um, but yeah, 13 years. I didn't realize it had been that long since the original Panty and Stocking. That's wild. And you can very much tell by the animation. And the animation was really good in the original. But it's so drastically improved. Um, the humor, like I said, is all there. The characters are still the characters we know and love. Just obviously with new voices. Scanty and Nisox, by the way, I don't know if it's just I don't remember their voices as well. Maybe it's just that I guess like maybe their voices I didn't like interpret as super iconic to their characters. Didn't notice a difference. Maybe that's just me, but I didn't really notice the difference there. Same with Brief. Like again, maybe it's just I don't have as much of like a strong view on the original voices like iconic nature, but it wasn't really that noticeable to me about his new voice. Garter Belts was noticeable. Also, I noticed something I didn't like. I don't think I mentioned in the reaction. They changed Garter Belt's lips, which is definitely for the better. There was some caricature views on his lips, and it's something that people have like. There's people who have like said, "Oh, it's because it's a satire. It's like it's clearly satirizing a lot of American animation, which has done that kind of thing." But there's also the side it's like, okay, we don't need to do that though. We're past the point where we should be doing that kind of stuff. It's kind of still gross. And so they changed his lips to just be like the color of his skin, which just looks better. Um, it looks less caricature like. But speaking of Garter Belt, the ending here, the post credits scene, is really interesting because although we find out that Stocking was not actually a demon, it was just being brainwashed, we see Garter Belt talking to the King of Hell, and he says, "My King of Hell." So are they trying to like play up the idea that maybe Garter Belt is an actual like bad guy this entire time, or is he just being possessed as well? Like, okay, Stocking wasn't actually a demon, but maybe Garter Belt is. Ooh. That seems to at least be what they're implying, but I don't know if they're going to actually go for that. Maybe he's just acting as like a double agent. I could see that. Um I'm definitely going to have to like I feel like see more episodes with Panty and Stocking like interacting and seeing them like talk in kind of their normal situations to really get a feel for their voices. Especially Stocking because the voice is so different, because it's like so noticeably aggressively different. I definitely, that's gonna take the longest to get used to. But I feel like everything else about this still feels enough like Panty and Stocking for me to be willing to give it the chance. I think I'll still be able to enjoy this. It's just be it's gonna be hard to get used to the voice for Stocking specifically. Very specifically. And again, I love Christina Valenzuela. I think she's a phenomenal VA, probably one of my favorites. I don't know if she was the right choice, or specifically, I don't know if this voice was the right choice that she's doing. Um, I don't know. I just feel like she could have done things maybe a little better with the voice. And again, I'm not trying to hate on Christina Valenzuela. I'm not. Again, probably one of my favorite VAs, but it's just I don't know if the voice it's just so distractingly different. It's probably just that. It's probably just throwing me off super hard. I hope I get used to it. I hope I'm okay with it enough. Again, Panty sounds fine. I have no issue with Panty right now with her voice. It's different, but it's close enough to where I can reliably handle it. It's definitely just I gotta take some time with Stocking. um, I'm definitely curious to see what they do with this. If it's gonna completely go episodic again for the most part, or if they're gonna have more of an ongoing narrative this time. Also, with Scanty and Nisak seemingly kind of becoming part of the good guys now, how is that going to go? Are they just going to end up like turning against them again? Or is it going to kind of be one of those cases where they kind of go back and forth and are just unsure about what to do? Because they kind of did that a little bit in this episode. They were like working with them, but there were like points where it's like they were like kind of insulting them and stuff too. It's like I think I explained it in the reaction pretty well. They're not quite clear what they're like, what side they're on right now. They're just kind of like being there. They just don't know like what to really side with at this time. So it'd be interesting to see that continue to be the case. Um I again, I think I'm still gonna love the vibes of the show and the humor. Like all of that's still gonna be really good. Oh, my favorite joke was absolutely the girl like getting her arm grown super big like a One Piece Gear third kind of situation, and punching the shit out of the guy who was trying to rape her, and then saying like victory, like some kind of fighting game victory pose. It's like that was really funny, but also because she got to beat up her potential rapist, it's like that's always like just great. There was also some fourth wall breaking and some obviously character jokes in this, like the with Brief and how he was analyzing in his head how he views Panty and how he like interprets her and stuff. It's like that's definitely the kind of joke that works for a series like this, especially in the modern day. Like that's a genuinely good joke for this time period. Um yeah, I think overall the vibe's going to be good. Now, here's a question. So, if I'm going to continue reacting to this, when am I going to do that? Because I originally said um I was going to get to this as soon as I could once the dub came out. Like I was going to make sure I could get to it. And this is actually something that like kind of conflicts with something else I've been kind of thinking about because of earlier this week, or just yesterday actually. I think it was just yesterday at this point. Um, in regards to where is it, Turkey, because I did the first impression of Turkey, and I said after that, it's like, with the way that ended. If you haven't seen my first impression to Turkey, I'm not going to spoil you here, but go check it out, and go check out the episode in general. With the way the first episode of Turkey Time to Strike ended, my thoughts were like, I need to continue this right away. I can't wait on this. I need to see where this goes. And I was trying to think of how to integrate it into my schedule. Do I wait for something like to end, or for me to take a break on something like To Be Hero X, which I plan to take a break on after the next arc? Should I just like rush through the final or the next 3 episodes? I keep saying final 3 episodes for that, of To Be Hero X, just to like take the break on that, just to get to that. And I think I'm gonna have my answer here. I think this is actually going to help me with this. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to add new panty and stocking to Thursdays. So we're just going to have this be on Thursdays alongside City the Animation. Normally Thursdays was like my day of the week where I only had one show instead of two because of various reasons here and there. Sometimes I go to the bar on Thursdays. Sometimes I'll do like gaming streams. It just makes it a little easier. But I think I can handle a second show on Thursdays. I don't think it'll ruin anything in that regard. Um, and I think what I am going to do is I am going to wait for To Be Hero X for the next arc to finish. So I take my break on that. And then I'm going to put Turkey on Mondays with One Piece. Um, I think that's the best option here. Because that way, that makes Panty and Stocking, new Panty and Stocking, just coming out every Thursday. So this is kind of like just the start of that. So next week, we'll just go to episode 2, along with episode 2 of City the Animation. And if we do just do the next 3 episodes, the next arc of To Be Hero X in one go, we can get back to Turkey pretty fairly soon. It'll be like 1.5 weeks since we reacted to the first episode. So a little bit of a wait, but not too bad. I think that's the best choice here. So that's what we're going to do. Once we finish the next arc of To Be Hero X, we'll take a break from that. We'll replace that with Turkey Time to Strike on Mondays. And New Panty and Stocking will join City the Animation on Thursdays going forward. Um, I'll probably have to make another video explaining what's happening with Turkey. For those who aren't going to be watching New Panty and Stocking, but still. Either way, sorry for these long afterthoughts. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of this first episode of New Panty and Stocking. What do you think of the new voices? What are your thoughts on that? It really sucks that Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial couldn't return, or didn't return, weren't cast by the new company and everything, but I'm not going to take it out on the VAs, and I don't believe Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial would want that anyway, so we'll continue to give it a shot and hopefully just get used to the voices. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.